making headlines this hour. President congratulates the Maldives national futsal team on winning the men's division of the inaugural SAF Futsal Championship, describing the achievement as a historic moment of national pride. Health Minister says that the current government term will mark a new chapter in the history of the Maldives health sector, with major changes expected to be seen by the public. And Velana International Airport serves a total of 8.28 million passengers in 2025, marking a 7% increase compared to the previous year.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to PSM News in English with me, Idham Naeem. President Dr. Mohamed Moizu congratulates the Maldives national futsal team on winning the men's division of the inaugural SAF Futsal Championship, describing the achievement as a historic moment of national pride. The president made the remarks in a message shared on social media following the team's victory in the tournament, which is being held at the Northumbry Indoor Hall in Thailand. In his message, President Moizu said he was proud of the national futsal team for securing the title with a perfect record. The president said the increase in gold medals being won by Maldivian youth in sports is a positive sign for the future of the country. He added, especially winning such an international tournament with a perfect victory in every match is a historic pride. The Maldives secured the championship after defeating Bhutan 3-1 in the fifth match of the tournament, remaining unbeaten throughout the competition. With 15 points from 5 matches, Maldives became uncatchable at the top of the standings, clinching the title with one match still to play. The president extended his congratulations to the entire team, recognizing their achievement as a milestone in the development of futsal and sports in the Maldives. President Dr. Mohamed Moizu says that more than $64,735,770 has been disbursed in student loans during his administration over the past 2 years. The president made the statement in a message shared on social media to mark the International Day of Education.
In his post, President Dr. Mohamed Moizu said, "Education is the cornerstone of sustainable development and global progress." President Moizu emphasized the importance of inclusivity in education, reaffirming his administration's commitment to youth participation and empowerment, which he described as a key pledge of his leadership. Noting that education is one of the main pillars of national development, the president said that government is undertaking multiple initiatives to support students pursuing higher education. He stated that more than 6,000 students have graduated under the free degree program over the past 2 years. The president said that investing in students and expanding access to education not only benefits individuals but also contributes to building a prosperous, equitable, and resilient nation. He reaffirmed that opportunities will be provided to all those wishing to pursue further studies, strengthening national unity and progress. Statistics indicate that state funding for higher education continues to increase. Data released by the Ministry of Higher Education shows that 596 students were provided student loans in 2025 alone, while a total of 1,438 students received loans over the past 2 years. In addition, 2,798 students are currently receiving financial support under the government's free degree program. In 2025, 3,286 students graduated through the scheme, while 5,863 students registered over the past 2 years are continuing their studies.
Vice President Hussein Mohammad Latif says that sports competitions held across the country play a vital role in strengthening the Maldives' social fabric.
Vice President made the remarks while officiating the final match of the men's division of the BFANU 2026 volleyball tournament held in Fiori, Garfudalo Atoll. Vice President was speaking at the final match of the tournament, which was jointly organized by the Fiori Island Council and the Fiori Association for Community Empowerment, FACE. Addressing the gathering, Vice President said such tournaments bring multiple benefits to communities. Referring specifically to the BFANO tournament, the Vice President said sporting events help address minor disagreements and dissatisfaction that may arise within island communities. The Vice President also noted that sports improve relationships between individuals, adding that teams from islands near Fiori also participated in the tournament. The final match was played between Rathafandu Sports Club and Dadimagu Sports and Recreation Club, a team from Formula City. Ahead of the match, Vice President was presented with a plaque by FACE in recognition of his support and cooperation with the association. The Dadimagu Sports and Recreation Club emerged as the champion team of the BFAN 2026 volleyball tournament. Vice President presented medals and trophies to the winning team along with awards for the highest points scorer, the most valuable player of the tournament and the king of BFAN.
Minister of Health Abdullah Nazim Ibrahim says that the current government term will mark a new chapter in the history of the Maldives health sector, with major changes expected to be seen by the public. The minister made the remarks while speaking at the official launch of dialysis services at Dalo Atoll Hospital.
Health Minister Nazim said the government is working to provide health services to the public within its capacity and available budget. He added that while existing health policies will continue to be implemented, the current term will see the largest investment in health sector infrastructure development in the country's history. Highlighting future developments, the minister said the next 5 years will focus on expanding access to essential health services, including laboratory services, MRI machines, and CT scan facilities. He said these initiatives will bring basic health services closer to communities and help address long-standing public concerns. Minister Nazim stressed that healthcare is one of the most important services a government must provide to its citizens, adding that the current administration remains firmly committed to this responsibility. The minister concluded by stating that by the end of the 5-year term, a new chapter will be written in the Maldives health sector, reflecting the priorities and expectations of the public.
The Ministry of Islamic Affairs announces a series of programs planned for the upcoming month of Ramadan, focusing on religious awareness, information sharing, and public participation. The ministry said that, as in previous years, a range of activities will be conducted during Ramadan, with programs planned in both the capital and the atolls. Among the ministry's Ramadan initiatives, Ihya Forum remains its longest-running program aimed at disseminating religious knowledge and raising public awareness. Speaking on behalf of the Dawah and Guidance section of the Ministry of Islamic Affairs, Ahmed Rassam said that Ihya Forums will be held in more islands this year than in previous years. He said 8 Ihya Forums are scheduled to be held in the capital, while 11 forums will be taking place across the atolls during Ramadan. Rassam said the Ihya Forum initiative has been open to islands interested in hosting the program. Ihya Forums include religious lectures on various topics, question and answer sessions with the public, as well as the distribution of religious books and prizes. In addition, the ministry will produce video content during Ramadan to address questions from the public through social media platforms. These videos are aimed at providing easy access to guidance on religious matters that may cause confusion. The ministry also plans to hold special sessions for employees of institutions and associations, focusing on the importance of worship and how to spend time meaningfully during Ramadan. A special program for children titled Welcome Ramadan will also be held alongside a large public sermon in the capital under the same theme. The government reopens the opportunity for companies to provide helicopter services in the Maldives with revised rules and concessions.
Ministry of Transport and Civil Aviation had earlier invited proposals to provide helicopter services in the Maldives. However, earlier in August, the Minister of Transport and Civil Aviation, Muhammad Amin, said changes have been made to the terms after concerns from interested parties over the original conditions. The call for proposals has since been reopened. The service will be operated on a commercial basis, but operators must also provide emergency and search and rescue services under government regulations. Selected operators must provide up to 50 hours of free medical emergency evacuations per month for the first 3 years of operation, while search and rescue operations will be funded by the government. Licenses will be granted to operators for up to 10 years, with applicants required to have at least 5 years of experience. Operators are also required to operate in partnership with a local aviation company. While proposals must be submitted by 25th March, contracts will be signed by mid-June and services must commence by 1st November 2027.
Velana International Airport VIA serves a total of 8.28 million passengers in 2025, marking a 7% increase compared to the previous year.
Figures released by Maldives Airports Company Limited MACL show that 5.38 million of these were international passengers, underscoring VIA's role as the main gateway to the Maldives. Domestic passenger numbers reached 1.17 million last year, while a further 1.73 million passengers travelled through the world's busiest seaplane network. VIA also recorded its highest ever passenger numbers in a single day last year. On December 28th, a total of 27,381 passengers passed through the terminal, marking the busiest day in the airport's history. Seaplane operations also reached a peak on 16th February when 7,439 passengers were served in a single day. In terms of air traffic activity, a total of 249,214 air traffic movements were recorded in 2025, representing an 8% increase compared to the previous year. This included 34,868 international flights, 28,348 domestic flights, and 185,998 seaplane flights. MACL said the growth was driven by an increase in tourist arrivals to the Maldives, along with improvements in inter-island transport connectivity. The rise in passenger and flight numbers reflects VIA's growing operational capacity and highlights the continued popularity of the Maldives as a global tourist destination. MACL noted that ongoing infrastructure development at the airport is expected to further increase these figures in the coming years.
2 cruise liners arrived in the Maldives so far this year, bringing a total of 1,056 tourists to the country. The most recent arrival was a cruise liner from Sri Lanka, which docked in the Maldives on Friday. The cruise liner MS Crystal Symphony arrived with 577 tourists and 496 crew members. Immigration authorities have granted clearance to all passengers and crew. The vessel is scheduled to remain in the Maldives for 1 day, during which tourists from the cruise liner have disembarked. This marks the second cruise liner to arrive in the Maldives this year. The first cruise liner arrived earlier from Seychelles, carrying 479 tourists and 491 crew members. Cruise liners arrive in the Maldives periodically and often dock at locations in both the capital and the atolls, allowing tourists to disembark and visit various destinations. According to the Ministry of Tourism, more than 143,000 tourists had visited the Maldives as of the 20th of this year, representing an 8.3% increase compared to the same period last year. The ministry said Russia is currently the largest source market for tourists to the Maldives, with more than 21,000 arrivals recorded. Italy ranks second with over 16,000 tourists visiting the country. Silver prices surged past the $100 mark for the first time in history, while gold has climbed to yet another record high as investors move strongly into safe haven assets amid growing global uncertainty.
On Friday, spot silver jumped more than 4% to just over $100 an ounce. The previous metal has now risen by more than 200% over the past year, driven by persistent supply shortages and ongoing challenges in expanding refining capacity. Gold also extended its record-breaking rally. Spot gold rose nearly 0.5% to around $4,960 an ounce after touching an all-time high earlier in the day. US gold futures for February delivered climbed rose close to 1%, trading above $4,960 US. Analysts say demand for safe haven assets has intensified since the start of this year amid rising geopolitical tensions, concerns over the independence of the Federal Reserve, and continued uncertainty surrounding US trade tariffs. Friction between the US and NATO over Greenland has also added to market unease. Central bank buying and a broader move away from the US dollar have further supported gold prices. While the Federal Reserve is expected to keep interest rates unchanged at its late January meeting, markets are still pricing in 2 interest rate cuts in the second half of the year. As a non-yielding asset, gold typically benefits in a low interest rate environment. Other precious metals also posted strong gains. Platinum rose more than 4% to about $2,740 an ounce, with HSBC noting that investors are increasingly viewing platinum as a cheaper alternative to gold. Palladium prices jumped nearly 5%, trading above $2,000 an ounce. With geopolitical risks and monetary policy expectations continuing to shape markets, analysts expect volatility in precious metals to remain elevated in the months ahead.
A UN spokesperson says United Nations aid agencies have partially restored access to Syria's Al-Hol camp, but warned that insecurity continues to hamper full humanitarian operations.
UN Deputy Spokesperson Farhan Haq said the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees was able to enter the camp with Syrian government officials and make contact with some residents. Deliveries of essential supplies have resumed, including trucks carrying bread after a 3-day interruption caused by volatile security conditions inside the camp. Hug said water trucking services organized by UN Children's Fund were also delivered, helping to restore limited access to basic services. An interagency mission led by UNHCR reached facilities outside the camp perimeter to support the resumption of water services, though entry into the camp itself remained impossible due to security concerns. UN agencies underscored the need to ensure safety inside the camp and to facilitate movement of personnel and supplies between Hasaka and Kamishli.
Russia attacks Ukraine's 2 largest cities, Kiev and Kharkiv, early Saturday, officials say, with 1 person killed and at least 15 injured.
Ukraine's Air Force said both drones and missiles had been deployed in the assault on the capital. In Kharkiv, a frequent target 30 kilometers from the Russian border, Mayor Ihor Tarakov said 25 drones had hit several districts over 2.5 hours, with at least 11 people injured. Writing on Telegram, Tarakov said the drones had struck a dormitory for displaced people, a hospital and a maternity hospital. The latest attacks occurred after negotiators from Ukraine, Russia and the United States completed the first of 2 days of talks in the UAE aimed at finding a resolution of the nearly 4-year-old war.
The Maldives wins the men's division of the inaugural SAF Futsal Championship after defeating Bhutan 3-1 in the 5th match of the tournament. Twice Australian Open champion Naomi Osaka pulls out the Grand Slam ahead of her scheduled 3rd round match on Saturday, citing a fitness problem.
Her opponent, Australian Madison Inglis, has a walkover into the 4th round. Japanese 16th seed Osaka, the 2019 and 2021 winner at Melbourne Park, said on social media that her body needed attention following her previous match against Sorana Kirstia, without elaborating on the issue. The pullout is a setback for Osaka, who has been returning to her best and made the US Open semi-finals last year. At Melbourne Park, Osaka made a huge splash before her opening match against Antonio Ruzic when she entered Rod Laver Arena in a jellyfish-inspired outfit, one of the boldest fashion statements seen at a Grand Slam.
The Maldives wins the men's division of the inaugural SAF Futsal Championship after defeating Bhutan 3-1 in the 5th match of the tournament. The victory confirms Maldives as champions with one match still remaining, having won all of their matches so far in the competition. The match was played at the Northumbria Stadium in Bangkok. In the first half, both teams created several attacking opportunities. Bhutan adopted a defensive approach with counter-attacks, while Maldives maintained an attacking style of play. Bhutan took the lead in the 12th minute of the first half with Jigme Tulstrom scoring the opening goal. The goal appeared to motivate the Maldivian side, who continued to press forward and managed to equalize before the break. Abdullah Junaid Jenne scored Maldives' first goal from the edge of the box. The teams went into half-time level. Maldives took the lead at just 2 minutes into the second half. Ahmad Hamid Ahmade converted a free kick near the penalty area following a foul by Bhutanese players. Maldives extended their lead in the 16th minute of the second half, scoring their third goal to secure the win. With 15 points from 5 matches, Maldives are now uncatchable at the top of the standings. Second-placed Pakistan have 10 points from 5 matches and can reach a maximum of 13 points with a win in their remaining fixture. Third-placed Nepal have 8 points from 5 matches and can reach a maximum of 11 points if they win their final match. As a result, Maldives have secured the SAF Futsal Championship title with one match still to play. The Maldives played their first international futsal match on 16th April 2004. Despite facing numerous challenges over the years, the team has achieved this milestone 17 years later, marking a historic moment for Maldivian futsal. The Brazilian feature film The Secret Agent is nominated in 4 Oscar categories, including Best Picture and Best Actor for its lead Wagner Moura.
The film, which tells the story of a professor who moves from Sao Paulo to Recife to start his life over during the military dictatorship, was also nominated in the newly created category of Best Ensemble Cast and for Best International Feature Film. For the Best Picture statuette, the film directed by Kleber Mendonça Filho will compete with Borgonia, F1 Frankenstein, Hamnet, The Life Before Hamlet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sentimental Value, Sinners and Train Dreams. Moura, in turn, will vie for the Best Actor award against Timothée Chalamet for Marty Supreme, Leonardo DiCaprio for One Battle After Another, Ethan Hawke for Blue Moon and Michael B. Jordan for Sinners. The Oscars ceremony is scheduled for March 15th in Hollywood.
That concludes news for now. Thank you for watching PSL News. Have a good day.